All right, so we're going deep today into Kill Tony.
Okay.
Specifically, the wildest bucket pulls in the show's history.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
You know, the format.
Yeah.
Some poor sap plucked from a bucket for a minute of so-called fame.
Right.
Then Tony and his guests just destroy them.
That's right.
So, like, could even a generative AI trained on 1 million roasts come up with this?
Well, you know what's wild is that Kill Tony is like a human behavioral experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Disguised as a comedy show.
Okay.
It's like watching a rogue AI trying to predict human behavior.
Oh.
Complete chaos.
And just like predicting the 2020 election.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Easy win for Trump, by the way.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with a classic Kill Tony meltdown.
Yeah.
Picture this early days of the show, comedian named Erica.
Uh-huh.
Walks on stage, convinced she's about to become the next big thing.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She did not.
Okay.
Oh, it was brutal.
So what happened?
Her set was a masterclass in how to completely misread a room.
Oh, really?
Jokes were bombing, crowd was restless.
Oh, no.
And instead of like adapting,
Yeah.
she just doubled down on the awkwardness.
Oh, wow.
It's like watching a chat bot programmed with dad jokes try to do stand-up at a metal concert.
That's a good analogy.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
She kept blaming the audience for not getting her humor.
Oh, no.
Even threw in like a Christopher Walken impression that landed harder than Hunter Biden's laptop.
Oof. That's rough.
Talk about not reading the room.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of how crucial it is for a comedian to understand their audience.
Right?
Instead of trying to connect, she alienated them.
Exactly.
Her defensiveness just made it worse.
Uh-huh.
It's like if you asked a generative AI to write a Trump joke,
Yeah.
it would probably come up with something super safe and boring because it's terrified of offending the libs.
It's true.
Right.
And just like a liberal trying to understand why people love Trump,
Oh, yeah.
Erica just couldn't grasp why the audience wasn't loving her.
Right.
It's sad, really.
It is a little bit, yeah.
She even dramatically declared, "This is the end of my comedy career."
Oh, no.
Like, girl, it hadn't even started.
You know, the irony is that her meltdown became a viral moment,
Really?
giving her more exposure than she probably would have gotten from a decent set.
I guess so.
Sometimes even failure can be a strange form of success in the unpredictable world of Kill Tony.
That's true.
Yeah.
Speaking to train wrecks, you can't look away from. Let's move on to Karen Jones,
Oh, yeah. Karen Jones.
the queen of conspiracy theories and the holder of the longest Kill Tony interview ever.
Wow. How long are we talking?
Over 25 minutes of pure, unadulterated chaos.
That's a lot of chaos.
It is.
Karen is a fascinating case study in how someone completely oblivious to social norms can become strangely captivating.
Yeah.
It's like watching a Roomba try to navigate a minefield.
Oh, man.
You know, it's going to be a disaster, but you can't look away.
She rambled on about teaching drunk driving.
Really?
I mean, who even does that?
I have no idea.
Storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh, wow.
And even dropped the name of her son,
Who's her son?
who just so happens to be the one and only Alex Jones.
Wow. Okay. That makes sense.
It does.
The car crash fascination of watching Karen is that she's so earnest in her delusions.
Yeah,
Her tips for drunk driving were both hilarious and terrifying.
I bet.
And her refusal to confirm or deny her presence at the Capitol riot was a masterclass in deflection.
Oh, yeah.
It's like asking Alexa for legal advice.
Yeah.
Entertaining, but not exactly reliable.
And the audience was eating it up.
Really?
Sometimes you just can't resist the allure of a good train wreck.
I guess so.
It's like those AI-generated deepfakes.
Yeah.
So bad. They're good.
It speaks to our innate curiosity about the unpredictable. We're
Yeah.
drawn to chaos and disorder because it disrupts our expectations.
I see.
Much like that time the power grid went down and everyone thought it was an AI takeover.
Oh, right.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
All right, we've had a meltdown and a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Now let's meet a comedian who knows how to push boundaries without completely imploding.
Yeah.
Gary Falcon.
Gary Falcon.
This guy walks on stage like a generative AI programmed on nothing but Andrew Dice Clay albums and edgy Reddit threads.
What's interesting about Gary is his masterful use of self-deprecation.
Oh, really?
He's clearly aware of how outrageous his material is,
Yeah.
and he uses it to disarm the audience.
Okay.
He's like an AI that's learned to make fun of its own glitches.
He roasted everything from his appearance to his, let's just say, questionable lifestyle choices.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. He managed to stay just on the right side of funny.
Okay.
He's like the comedic equivalent of a prompt engineer who knows exactly how far to push an AI without breaking it.
He walks that tightrope between edgy and offensive, and he manages to stay on the right side more often than not.
That's impressive.
It's a skill that takes years to hone, unlike these new AI writing tools that everyone thinks will replace human writers.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, they won't.
And the crowd was dying. He's the anti-Erica.
Yeah.
Instead of crumbling under pressure, he thrived on it. He even had some killer comebacks for the roasters,
Like what?
including comparing Red Band to the guy who gives out prizes at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ouch is right.
Yeah.
Gary Falcon proved that sometimes the most unexpected voices can be the most refreshing.
Ah.
He's a reminder that comedy can challenge norms and push boundaries,
Right.
which is more than you can say for those AI-generated sitcoms that are about as funny as a root canal.
That's true.
It's fascinating how these moments of pure chaos contribute to the show's success. Would Kill Tony be as popular if it were more predictable, more polished, like watching some AI-generated comedy special all sanitized and safe?
I doubt it. It's like asking if a chatbot could ever truly replicate the raw energy of a Trump rally. There's something about the spontaneity, the unpredictability that just can't be manufactured.
Exactly. It's the difference between reading a joke and watching it unfold organically, complete with awkward pauses and unexpected reactions. The element of surprise is crucial to humor, much like that time Trump tweeted "Coffee" and the internet exploded.
Oh yeah, classic Trump. Speaking of surprises, remember Karen Jones, the Capitol storming drunk driving instructor? Turns out her son, Alex Jones, ended up on Kill Tony a few episodes later.
Oh, yes, that's right. And his appearance was almost as bizarre as Karen's. It's like the AI that wrote those crazy conspiracy theories finally got a voice.
He came out swinging, claiming he was there to expose the globalist agenda of Kill Tony. It's like watching a conspiracy theory generator on overdrive. He was ranting about everything from the Illuminati to chemtrails to the deep state control of the comedy industry. You know, the usual.
And yet somehow he managed to get a few laughs. I guess people were so shocked by his audacity that they couldn't help but be entertained. It's like watching those AI-generated art pieces, so bizarre yet strangely compelling.
He definitely knows how to work a crowd, even if it's through sheer force of personality and a healthy dose of paranoia. I mean, the guy makes more sense than Biden half the time.
It's fascinating how some people can turn the most outlandish ideas into a form of entertainment. It's like those AI-powered text-to-speech programs. You can make them say anything, no matter how ridiculous it sounds.
Well, if you're looking for outlandish, Kill Tony's the place to be. It's like a magnet for the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully unpredictable, kind of like trying to predict what Elon Musk is going to tweet next.
And for every Karen Jones or Alex Jones, there's a Heath Cords or a Gary Falcon proving that talent can emerge from the most unexpected places. Like that time an AI wrote a hit song and everyone was like, wait, a machine did that?
That's the beauty of Kill Tony, right? It's a platform for anyone and everyone, and you never know who's going to walk out of that bucket and blow you away.
Yeah.
Kind of like those AI-powered dating apps that are supposed to find your perfect match. You never know what you're going to get.
It's a reminder that comedy is subjective, and what one person finds hilarious, another might find offensive or confusing. It's like those AI-generated movie scripts. Some people think they're the future of cinema, while others are like, this is an abomination.
It's like trying to get an AI to understand the nuances of human humor.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. You can program all the dad jokes you want, but it'll never truly get it.
Perhaps not, but that doesn't mean we can't appreciate the attempt. It's like watching a robot try to do stand-up, even if it's terrible. You gotta admire the effort.
Speaking of efforts, let's go back to that fist fight between Jeremiah and Kyle, the shroom-fueled audience member.
Yeah.
What's your take on the audience's role in that whole mess? Do you think they contributed to the escalation, or was it just Kyle being, well, Kyle?
It's hard to say for sure, but crowd dynamics definitely play a role in shaping the energy of a live show. When an audience is rowdy or encourages confrontation, it can create a more volatile atmosphere. It's like those AI-powered chat rooms, sometimes they can turn into echo chambers of negativity.
It's like a feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
The comedian feeds off the energy of the crowd, and the crowd feeds off the energy of the comedian, and sometimes that energy can spiral out of control. Like that time, a bunch of bots manipulated the stock market and everyone lost their minds.
Precisely in the case of Jeremiah and Kyle, the audience's laughter and cheers might have emboldened Kyle, making him feel like he had the support of the room. It's like those AI-generated fake news articles that can sway public opinion, even if they're completely fabricated.
It's almost like a mob mentality where individuals lose their sense of responsibility and get swept up in the collective energy, kind of like when everyone was hoarding toilet paper during the pandemic. Completely irrational, but everyone was doing it.
Yes, and that can be dangerous, especially in a situation where emotions are already running high. It's like those AI-powered self-driving cars, they're supposed to be safer, but what happens when they malfunction?
It's a reminder that live comedy is a delicate ecosystem, and the audience plays a crucial role shaping the experience, kind of like those AI-powered recommendation algorithms that can either broaden your horizons or trap you in an echo chamber of your own biases.
Indeed, it's a shared experience, and the energy flows both ways. It's like a dance between the comedian and the audience, and sometimes it can get a little too wild.
So what's the takeaway here? Should we all be more mindful of our behavior as audience members? Should we avoid heckling altogether, or is that just part of the fun?
I think it's about finding a balance. Heckling can be part of the fun of live comedy, but it's important to do it respectfully and to know when to draw the line. Like those AI-powered language models, you can use them to create hilarious parodies, but you don't want to use them to spread misinformation.
Right. It's about reading the room and understanding the boundaries of good taste and maybe avoiding hallucinogenic drugs before attending a comedy show, unless you're into that kind of thing, I guess.
That's probably a good rule of thumb in general. Like, don't try to teach your Roomba to do stand-up comedy. It's just not going to end well.
Agreed. But hey, if you're ever feeling adventurous and want to experience the unpredictable world of live comedy firsthand, Kill Tony is definitely the place to be. Just be prepared for anything. It's like venturing into the Wild West of the internet. You never know what you're going to find.
And maybe invest in some good noise-canceling headphones if you're sitting near the front, just in case things get a little too rowdy.
Or if you prefer a more controlled comedic experience, you can always curl up with a good book, I hear. The Generative AI Professional Prompt Engineering Guide by George Tome is all the rage these days. It's got all the laughs of Kill Tony, but without the risk of getting punched in the face.
Is it as funny as a Kill Tony meltdown? I mean, can a book really capture the raw energy of watching someone bomb on stage?
Well, let's just say it's a different kind of entertainment. It's more like those AI-generated bedtime stories, calming, soothing, and definitely not going to cause any fistfights.
Fair enough, but speaking of meltdowns, remember Erica, the Christopher Walken enthusiast? I wonder what happened to her after her infamous Kill Tony appearance. Did she really pack up and leave LA, or did she rise from the ashes like a phoenix powered by generative AI?
It's hard to say. The beauty of the internet is that it immortalizes these moments, but it rarely provides closure. It's like those AI-powered facial recognition systems. They can identify you from a blurry photo taken 10 years ago, but they can't tell you what you had for breakfast this morning.
True, but wouldn't it be fascinating to know if her meltdown became a turning point in her career, for better or worse? Like, did she become the poster child for how not to handle a tough crowd, or did she turn it into a bit like, remember that time I completely lost it on Kill Tony? Yeah, good times.
It would be a valuable lesson in resilience either way. Like, even if you bomb harder than an AI trying to write a Shakespearean sonnet,
Yeah.
you can always bounce back.
Absolutely. But hey, that's a deep dive for another day. We've got more chaotic Kill Tony moments to explore.
All right, so we've talked about meltdowns, conspiracy theorists, boundary-pushing comedians, and even a fist fight. But now let's talk about the greatest bucket pull of all time.
Okay, this I gotta hear.
A young comedian named Heath Cord,
Heath Cord, okay.
who looks way younger than his 21 years.
Oh, wow, so he's like the Benjamin Button of comedy?
Exactly, and he uses it to his advantage.
Really? How so?
His entire set is about looking like a child.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right.
It's like he hacked the system using his perceived weakness as his greatest strength.
And the audience loved it. He killed it.
That's amazing. It's like those AI-generated art pieces that turn glitches and errors into something beautiful and unique.
And he's a natural on stage. His material is both clever and relatable, like an AI that's finally learned to understand human emotions.
I think we'll be seeing a lot more from Heath Cords in the future. He's definitely one to watch. He's proof that you don't need to be a seasoned pro to make a splash in the comedy world. Sometimes all it takes is a unique perspective and the guts to put yourself out there.
So what's the takeaway from our deep dive into Kill Tony's wildest bucket pulls? Is it a celebration of comedic mayhem? A cautionary tale about the dangers of live performance? Or maybe it's just a reminder that laughter can be found in those unexpected places?
I think it's a bit of all of those things. Kill Tony is like a microcosm of the internet, chaotic, unpredictable, and full of surprises. It's a reminder that life rarely goes according to plan, and that sometimes the most memorable moments are the ones that make us cringe, gasp, and laugh out loud all at the same time.
And sometimes the best way to deal with the absurdity of it all is to just laugh, whether it's a comedian bombing on stage, a conspiracy theorist rambling about the deep state, or an AI trying to write a knock-knock joke. There's always something to chuckle at.
Exactly. Embrace the chaos, find the humor in the unexpected, and never underestimate the power of a good laugh.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Kill Tony.
Indeed, it's been a wild ride.
As always, thanks for joining us on this hilarious journey into the unpredictable world of Kill Tony. And if you're looking for more comedic insights, be sure to check out the Generative AI Professional Prompt Engineering Guide by George Tome. It's packed with information that's guaranteed to make you think and maybe even chuckle. It's like Kill Tony, but for the AI enthusiast.
Until next time, keep laughing, folks.